Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. Today I thought that I would share my top favorite foundations with you that are great for normal to oily skin types. I myself have very normal to oily skin. In the summer it's definitely more oily than it is now, but these are my favorite foundations that I can rely on, that I kind of like switch in between into my makeup routine, and I thought I would share them. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe and hit the bell so that you know when I upload my next video. And if you like videos like these where I'm sharing my favorite products of a certain category, please let me know, because I think that would be fun to incorporate into tutorials and whatnot. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. So my first favorite here is the Dior Forever foundation. I'm in the shade 15 and this matches me perfectly. What I love about this is the finish it gives. It kind of makes you look like you're fake, almost like a doll, which I'm into personally. I feel like a lot of people that have dry skin also really seem to like this. And this is a foundation I used to wear all the time when I worked at Sephora back in the day. I didn't own it. I would just get like little samples of it. I just remember I loved it. It gives a medium to full coverage. I specifically love mixing this foundation with the next one, but and if you watch my videos, you probably already know what that is, but I feel like you really don't need to set this foundation unless you're like extremely oily. But like in the summer I get pretty darn oily, especially in my forehead and right here, which you can kind of see is starting to get a little wet. But I feel like you really don't need to overall set this foundation because it gives sort of like a semi matte finish, which is kind of like my theme here. There's only two foundations. Yeah, there's only like two foundations here that give like a full matte finish. But yeah, I feel like this is a cross between not even dewy, but just a nice soft matte finish. I think it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's a foundation that I think is worth the splurge. So my next favorite foundation is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This also gives a semi-matte finish, but I think it gives a little bit more of that dewiness than the Dior Forever foundation. I'm in the shade Porcelain. It is a little bit more yellow than I am. And when I'm really tan, I'm in the shade Nude, and that matches me perfectly when I'm tan. But I really love this on its own, but these two mixed together are just like the best thing ever. I am obsessed with it. And this also gives a medium to full coverage. I do think that the Dior one gives a fuller coverage than the Too Faced one, but I love it. I think it's beautiful. I think this could work for people that have more dry skin as well because it does give a little bit more of that dewy finish. It's such a great foundation. I feel like you get a lot of product in here, and I've been wearing it for years. The next foundation that I actually don't wear all the time, but it's definitely a foundation that is amazing for like special events, stuff like that. This is the Este Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This is going to cover you completely. This is probably the fullest coverage foundation that I have here. I am in the shade 1N1 Ivory Nude. That is my super fair pale shade. I could wear it right now. This will cover up everything almost like a concealer. You probably don't even need concealer with this unless you want that extra flawless look. But I love this because it is super, super matte, but it doesn't dry me out. It gives me that full coverage. And last year in the spring, I got to work on a shoot with Este Lauder, and I had such a great time. I got to learn more about the brand and learn more about the products, and I just fell in love with it even more. I don't wear it all the time just because like on the daily, I'm not looking for a super matte, super full coverage, but for special events, special occasions when I'm going out all night, which is very rare, but you know what I mean, on stuff like that where you really need your makeup to look flawless and last forever. Like this is sometimes what I'll grab, and it gives more of that matte finish. I don't think you really need to set this unless you really want to, but this is something that I think lasts a long time and looks really flawless, and this out of all of them is probably the most matte. Next I have the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. I'm in the shade 112. All of these I would say match me pretty perfectly, so if you're similar to me, you can use that as similar in color to me, you can use it as a reference. But this gives a very similar finish as the Too Faced Born This Way and the Dior Forever mixed together. It gives that semi-matte finish, which I love. It gives a medium to full coverage. So far everything's been medium to full except the Este Lauder. But yeah, if you have normal to oily skin, I think you would really, really love this. If you have dry skin, you're probably gonna hate this one because it is pretty matte. I haven't tried the regular Fit Me foundation in forever, and I feel like I'm kind of wanting to try it again because now that my skin is getting more on the normal side, I'm kind of into trying out stuff that has more of that like dewy radiance, you know? But for the longest time, I have loved this. It has been a go-to foundation for me. It's one that I think competes with the higher end ones. It has such great quality, great coverage, great long lasting power, and I love it. The next one that I think all skin types would really love, but if you have more oily skin, I think you just will especially love it. And I need to use it more. Every time I use it, I'm like, oh, I need to use this foundation more, but I definitely mix it into my other foundations every now and then. This is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter foundation. Is that what it's called? Pro Filter? Where are you? Yes, Pro Filter foundation. I'm in the shade 150. Again, matches me perfectly when I am fair. I don't use this enough. This does give that soft matte finish. It's not like a semi-matte finish where it's like dewy yet matte yet whatever. It's just a soft matte, and it's very hard to explain. But what I love, like, and I think that's what I look for in a foundation, is something that kind of just stands out from the rest. It's not just like basic. It gives something a little extra on the skin. And this is one of those kinds of foundations that just kind of like, when you put it on, you notice a difference. It's like, oh, I have on the Fenty foundation. You know what, do you know what I mean? So if you try out a lot of foundations, you probably know what I'm talking about, but this is really great. I think it gives more of that medium, so I think you could build it up to full, but definitely a medium coverage, that soft matte finish. And Fenty is like one of those brands that I think is just super unique. They're always coming out with new innovative products. I need to like put this out like here on my desk so that I use it more, because I feel like I'm always using the same stuff all the time, and this is amazing. It's awesome, and if you have oily skin especially, you will love it. The last foundation, and if you watch my channel, you know what it is. This is the BareMinerals Matte Foundation. It's the powder one. This is in the shade Fairly Light. Again, matches me perfectly, and when I am tan, I'm in the shade Medium Beige. I feel like this doesn't really give that extra special zest on the skin, you know what I mean? But for an everyday foundation, I love it because it's made of all of those better, like cleaner ingredients, and I just feel better on the daily using something like that. You catch my drift. I have videos on how to apply this, by the way. I'll link them right up here so you can check them out. If you feel like using like loose powder foundation gets really messy for you, I go through it and walk you through it step by step so you don't make a mess. This is actually very buildable. You can go completely sheer with it and then build it up to very, very full. This gives a creamy finish to the skin, but it's not shiny in any way. So if you have oily skin, you will really like this. But yeah, that was super short, sweet, to the point, but I just kind of wanted to have all of these in one place so I can refer you to it if you have normal to oily skin and you want some recommendations, some good recommendations, because I do talk about these all of the time, and especially in like my favorites videos and in my tutorials. Like, I'm always showing you my foundations, and it feels like I use the same ones all the time, but there are 6 here. That's 6 foundations that I rotate into my routine all the time, and I'm gonna be trying out some new ones soon, because for the longest time I felt like I was using so many and I didn't know what my favorite ones were, and now I'm to the point where I got a solid group of foundations that I know work and I love, and I'm ready to experiment and try new things. So please let me know your foundation recommendations down below in the comment section, and especially if you have more dry skin, let other dry skin people know down below what your favorites are so that they can get recommendations as well. So that's it. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this where I share my favorite products from different categories. I think that could be really fun. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Pretty boring, but whatever.